Homeland Festival is an annual 3-day music, fashion, sport, and art festival that holds here in Lagos, Nigeria. The platform was established for cultural exchange, sharing African creativity with the world as a way of connecting international creatives from Africa in the diaspora back to the motherland. The festival provides a venue for workshop, football pitch, art museum, live bands, DJs, and musicians. Joining us now to take a deeper look at what this year's edition of the festival holds in store is Grace Ladoja, a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire and Chief Executive Officer of Metallic Incorporated, organizers of the event. Good morning, Grace.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
You're welcome to the studio.
Thank
I'm very
you.
well. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Grace.
Thanks.
All right. So tell us about it. I mean, yet another festival is coming.
Yes.
Homeland.
Homecoming.
Homecoming. That's right.
Yes.
Why is that? What's this all about, and what should we expect for this year's edition?
Okay, we started Homecoming because we wanted to have an entry point for people in the diaspora to come back to Nigeria. That was one of the main things, because I come from a background of creativity, like creative industries, music, fashion, sport. I'm the creative partner for the Nike Nigeria jersey. So I was like, I have all these things. How can I bring that together and make that synergy with what's happening here in Nigeria? And like, when we started Homecoming, it was in 2017. So it was a rise of, like, you know, just before the explosion of Afro beats and Afro music. It was before, like, fashion and street fashion being in the mainstream in that way. So we were really like, how can we amplify the voices of what's happening here? Because we just done it in the UK. Obviously, I work in music. I'm the manager for an artist called Skepta, who's a British Nigerian man. Yeah. And he's had an incredible career, like really about emerging cultures in the UK and Nigeria and exploding them to the mass. And we were like, how can we do that here and exchange the knowledge that we've learned and bring it here and amplify those voices?
Wonderful. So, you know, as you've said in your answer just then, over time we've seen, you know, what we do here and what we enjoy go from being a niche into the mainstream. And as a result of that, you're obviously exposed to a wider audience. Yeah. But then there's the issue of authenticity on the periphery. So how do you maintain authenticity? What does that mean to you? And how does authenticity represent itself in Homecoming?
Okay, it's an amazing question. And authenticity to me and narrative, authentic narrative are so important. I think that what we need to promote more is storytelling about what we do and how we do it in its most authentic way. And I think that that's why people like Homecoming. There's so many different protagonists in Homecoming. So when you think about things like, you know, maybe like an artist like Rema, it was his first ever show, ever in the world. And like, it was on a global scale, and after that it transcended to him doing things in Paris for Fashion Week, and, you know, people at Coachella playing his music, and all these things are happening because it's authentic. The same with like some of the brands that we work with. Like, obviously we work with huge brands like Off-White, which is Virgil Abloh's brand, but we also work with like WAF, who's a skate brand, Motherland, who's a skate brand here, and both of those brands have done so much authentically and been supported and amplified because of the greatness they're doing in an authentic way. And I think that that's what reads globally. I think that people like authenticity. They want to see our narrative shown in an authentic way. So we try to promote people that are doing that well.
Well, I mean, I know that you've touched a bit on why the name Homecoming, but then I'm interested in knowing the significance. If you know, bear in mind that we've had similar things in the past. You know, the Badagry Heritage Festival in Badagry in those days. Professor Wole Soyinka was deeply involved, you know, in that project, bringing people, you know, from the diaspora, etc. In addition to that, La Campagne Tropicana, you know, and Natunda Entertainment, the Otumba Wanli Akimboboye thing, you know, I mean, it brought a number of mayors from the US, you know, focusing more on the US this time around. You know, it was also a kind of homecoming thing. How is yours different? Yeah. And what's the significance? And then what should we witness at this 3-day event? Okay. It's happening at...
It's happening, well, first of all, the first question, why Homecoming? Yeah. Firstly, shout out to my friend Greatness Dex that did the name. He gave us that name, and it's an amazing name because it epitomizes what it is. You're coming home. To me, everyone is from this continent. So now you can come home and be welcomed, and I think that our focus was less on like corporate or like, it was really focused on people, community. Community is everything, global community. And when you think about it now, we have the internet. So there's kids that wake up in Nigeria and they see, kids in London, they see kids in America. They're all a part of a community globally. There's nothing separating them in that space. So how do we bring them together in the physical space? That was really important to me. It's like, how can we bring people just like us together to find like-minded people in Nigeria, and like they start working together, they start synergizing, they start collaborating, and then we have, as a Black nation, a stronger power and presence, and I think that's really important. So when you see someone like Skepta and Wizkid make a song, it's more powerful because it's two cultures coming together, but in one place in such an authentic way. So how do we do that more? We do that for our fashion pop-up. We have like all these brands, whether it be Nike, Ambush, Off-White, and they collaborate with the brands that are in the continent, whether that's WAF, Awake, Free the Youth, and it gives everyone a global platform. So that's how we manifest that. But this weekend it's going to be amazing. So we have like 3 days of the festival. Yeah. So it kicked off last night. Today we have the pop-up, so we're taking over Alara, and I don't know if you know, as you know, Alara is an amazing luxury concept store. So we have Alara, and thank you Auntie Rennie for giving us Alara for those 3 days to host our pop-up, because we have all the most amazing streetwear lifestyle brands, and to me it's about like dispelling hierarchy and what is luxury in the future. These kids, they're kids that love like streetwear, they like luxury, but it's a different generation. They have a different need for their voice to be heard, and that is the new luxury. So we've got it in Alara, it's going to be amazing. We've got Drake dropping his first product for his brand Nocta with Nike there today, so it's going to be like amazing exclusive products and so many activities happening there. And then tomorrow we have the live show, which everyone's excited about. So we have like Black Sheriff playing from Ghana. Yeah, first show here in Nigeria. So I saw him last night, he's really excited. We have Ashake playing, who I'm super excited to see. But then we have some great female artists like Fave, Rebel, like incredible new up-and-coming artists that are going to be great. And then we have like the usual suspects, we have like a really strong community of artists like DRB, Bodge, all these great artists. And I think that for us, it started, the first homecoming had all the huge superstars. So Wizkid, David, Tiwa, they've all played it. So now it's given the platform to the next generation of them. So when you think about who was playing in 2019, Rema, Thames, those sort of artists, look at them now in 2 years. So that's what it's like a discovery platform. Some of these artists playing today will be huge African superstars. But the most important part is that we have an education program. So we have executives, music executives, fashion executives sharing knowledge all weekend at the hall. This weekend it's all online, and I think that for anyone that's interested in that world, go and hear from these people. I'm going to be talking there. So many managers, so many music executives, so many fashion executives, and these are people that run, multi-million pound businesses, and that's what we need to remember, that this is an industry that's going to make this country a lot of money if we play our cards right and we keep it here. So go and hear from those people and learn what you could have a future job opportunity or something there. So yeah,
it's amazing. I was looking at the website when I knew you were coming on, and just like you said, there are so many fantastic artists that are coming on. Like a few of my personal favorites, Liski's going to be.
Oh my God, Liski, me too. I'm so excited. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. But I do want to speak to you about your journey in getting to this point. I know that the festival is fantastic. I'll definitely be going. But when we look at your journey, for example, you mentioned that you managed Skepta. And when you look at the music industry, of course, there's the presence of women there, but it is still very much a male-dominated industry. So talk to us about how, first and foremost, you're able to make your presence felt, but also share the platform. Because I'd imagine that, I don't like the term gatekeeper, but as somebody who's on the forefront of this industry, I'd imagine that, do you ever find yourself in a bit where you think, well, I fought to get here, I deserve to be here, and I'm going to do this? Or is there also a part of you that says, how can I leave the door behind me for more people coming through as well?
That's the only question I want to answer. Like, my job is to do that. Like, my job is to make sure I open the door, I kick that door down so that it makes it easier for everyone coming after me. And You know, I don't see myself, like, I am a woman, of course, but I don't see any boundaries. I have a unshakable confidence in myself. I feel like I can achieve and do anything. So that's me. Not everyone's like that, but what I need to make sure is that if someone doesn't have that confidence or can't endure this industry that does have a lot of bias, there's a lot of inequality, there's a lot of pressure on women. Like, even as a mother now, I've seen that. So how do we open that door for the next generation? It's really important to allow them to be themselves in that space, but that's my key objective. How do I, if I was born here in Nigeria today, could I be me successfully without all the fight I had to do to get here? And that's what I'd like to answer as my life goal.
Where did you pick this interest from? I know that your dad was former governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Rashid, Ladoja, His Excellency, and is, of course, is in position to become the Olubadan of Ibadan, ultimately. So I know that there's a bit of culture and, rich history. But then your foray into entertainment, where did you pick it from? And then how did you feel when you received the MBE?
Yeah, so that's three good questions. Fun fact, and I love my dad, I think he's great, but I didn't grow up with him. So there's a lot of misconception of like, you're just a girl, look at I didn't grow up with anything. I grew up in London, my mum was a single mother, she struggled hard to give us everything she wanted, so she deserves all the praise for my greatness. But another thing I want to say is that, when you're working on what you want to do, think about your purpose. That's what I wanted to do. I said, what's my purpose? And I started making it about things I cared about. I cared about, economical independence for black people because I struggled. So I want to say, like, how do we own our own wealth? I had nothing. So I was like, I want to build wealth for me and my family. And the same with Skepta. So Skepta's an independent artist. He owns all of his music. He owns all of his businesses. He employs hundreds of people a year. And I was like, okay, that's a great start from that. So how do we make a blueprint that we can share with people and that they can do that following it? So that was really more the goal than like being a big musician and having hit records. It was about how do we reshape an industry so we build wealth as a black community. And I think that that's really, really important. So that's where my drive came from on that level. But inherently, I just care about alternative careers. And I think about like the opportunity that we have in music and in fashion in Africa. Think about it, it's huge. It's an industry that everyone is trying to tap into. And we have, do you know what we have? We have the numbers. As a nation, we love music. We're music lovers. So it's going to be a huge industry. And we love our own music. And that is a huge strength, but we need to own it. We need to not sell it to America and the UK and all the executives there. We have to build it here. That's my mission next. It's like, how do we build it here? I have to set an example and a blueprint that people can follow.
If we tiptoe back into music now, because of who you've represented, we've seen the level of success that African Nigerian art and music has had. When we look at the Grammys, for example, I know that this year there was a bit of backlash on Twitter when Angelique Kidjo won yet another Grammy, and some people might have...
fifth time.
Oh, is it five?
Yeah.
Is it five? I thought it was just the one. And I know that she's a fantastic artist. We cannot take her talent away from her. But there were criticisms that many people felt that, thoroughbred Afrobeats artists, because of the reach this genre of music has had, should be represented by the awards. Now, if we cast our minds not too far back into the distant, history, we know that Burna Boy won a Grammy, and that was fantastic for the scene. But when it comes to maintaining authenticity, promoting African and Nigerian music to the mainstream, and then making sure it gets its flowers, what is most important to you? Because I know that, an artist you may represent could say, I care about so much more. My legacy is more than just like the flowers and the awards. But, it is a legitimate achievement to have, the Recording Academy recognize Nigerian art form in this way. So first and foremost, what are your thoughts on where the Grammy went this year? And how do you think that we can capitalize off of the popularity of Afrobeats to make sure it continues receiving more and more, awards? I
think that there's some good questions there. I think that the main thing is was she deserving of the award? Absolutely, incredible musician, and that's it. Yeah, that's end of story. It's based on that day and that year. did she deserve it? Yes. But of course, Wizkid deserved an award too, but I think in a different category, because how they classify world music, you know, I don't classify that project as a world album. It's a great body of music, so it should be in mainstream categories like best song or best album. It doesn't need to be categorized like that. And again, do not box us in because we have music that is bigger than, you know, they're fairing us because of our numbers, you know. So another thing, do we want to do our own award shows here? Do we want to start really taking it, you know, giving our own, you know, continent the awards that it deserves in all of the areas? You know, we have so many different sounds in Africa, but it needs to be explored more. And then people will start coming to us. I don't think that we need to constantly seek validation from the West. I think that it's definitely great to be acknowledged, but it's, you know, they're always going to omit us sometimes. So we have to start building our power in other ways. But I guarantee Wizkid will win an award. He will at some point. Burna Boy didn't win the award the year before, did he? You know,
he lost to the same woman.
Yeah, so it's not even to
the first time.
I don't even think it's a loss. It's just that someone else won the award. Yeah, so I don't think it's winning or losing. I think it's just that someone else got acknowledged. But again, he didn't get acknowledged the year that maybe he thought he had a better album as well. So, you know, there's many more opportunities for them to
That's quite profound, actually, because, you know, many people would look at, for example, Made in Lagos, which in my opinion was, I actually think that was Wizkid's best body of work. There is a legitimate argument, and perhaps we should, you know, recognize ourselves, absolutely, and stop clamoring for more international awards like that. But do you think, and this is just even off the cuff, when you have my question is, as somebody who represents people in the music industry, when they put out fantastic albums, do they think, in your experience, has it been anything that they've shared with you, well, I don't know if I could recreate that, I don't know if I've got that in me again? Do they ever feel that?
I don't think that artists that will just transcend the test of time do. I think that Wizkid loves making music. This is his only love, in my opinion. Like, he loves it. So in my mind, he's going to make many more great bodies of work. So does most of the artists in, you know, our culture. So I don't think they've got a problem there. But I think that, yes, there's timing is everything. So, you know, the more popular our music gets, the more awards we're going to start winning, because we have, you know, they would have seen, you know, the Grammys know about Nigeria now. They saw Wizkid FC, you know, they saw them in full effect. So they know people are going to start watching, people are going to be closer, they're going to restructure how they do it, they're going to get more relevant people on their boards, and things will start to change, but it might not be at the pace we need it to. Because sometimes those institutions they're quite archaic, like they're they're a group of old people, and I talk about the youth population here, we constantly talk about it. Like, are they even relevant to each other? Probably not. So they need to start embracing more what's happening on the ground, what's happening in culture for real, and then we'll start to see that shift.
We do have our own awards platform, by the way. We do have the Afrima All African Music you know, awards, which comes up every November. And we also have the Eddies, which, by the way, for this year is going to Atlanta.
Oh, wow. I saw that.
In July, exactly. So we do have our, and I agree with you that we do not need to seek validation, you know, from elsewhere. For me, I don't see it as validation. We need all the flowers, like you know, 100%. Like she said, absolutely, you know, conquer your territory. You know, be relevant here, but at the same time, you know, go for it. You know, anywhere where it's happening. My question to you, though, is, as a talent manager, what do you say to your talents, to the people that you are representing, in terms of seeking relevance at your own base, and then trying to be competitive elsewhere? Because the Grammys, like the Oscars, they're a voting thing. How many Africans are on the voting, you know, list? So you have to lobby. There are many things that you have to do. You know, we saw what Burna Boy, the sort of alliance that he formed with Angelique Kidjo after the first, you know, encounter, and the next time, you know, he won. So as a talent manager, what do you say to established artists and then the upcoming one, so that they have a fair balance of how to approach this sort of a thing?
The first thing I'll say is, you're not always going to win. So you have to, like, you know, it pains. It's going to pain you, but just keep going. You're great. If you believe in yourself, you are great. In life, you don't always win. So just accept it. you know, and it's just part of life. You know what you're going to do? You're going to do better. You're going to keep striving for greatness. So don't worry about it, you know. And secondly, if you're, you know, making a project, don't make it to win something. Make it because it's great. If it's great, you know, as you're talking about it, Made in Lagos is my son's favorite, one of his favorite albums. I'm going to listen to that album probably for the rest of my life. So the body of work will live longer than that Grammy nomination, you know. So keep, you know, making great products. But to the younger generation that are about looking at that and thinking, where do I stand? Where do I fit in? Think about your opportunities. Think about it. Start thinking about targeting young people now. Like, get the young people on board. Start thinking about the digital space, because people don't listen to music. I love a record player. People don't listen to music like that. People listen to music on TikTok now. You know, they listen to it in such different places. And they, you know, look at the #1 song in the world. African song is that song by CK.
Yes.
You know, and it's because of TikTok.
Yeah.
So there's opportunities to make things in really innovative ways, and you have to, you know, you're closer to it as young people. Pioneer that, break through there, because you can make bigger impact, you know, like CK is making money from music.
Yeah.
Lots of money, you know, so to me that's great. The award's great on all that, but he's a businessman now, and he's making, hopefully, a lot of money to put back into his other projects, and to me that's super important too.
All right, Grace, we want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for your
wish
time.
you the very best
Thank
for the
you. Come down if you can.
Festival. We will do. We're looking.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well done.
Thank you so much.